so amazing to me. This is something that they call the Thriller Villa or the Hacienda Palomino. Now, this was actually the house that Michael Jackson lived in when he came back from living in Europe for those 3 years. After he was accused of molesting kids, he actually lived here from 2006, 7, 8, and then in 9, he of course went and moved to kind of Beverly Hills where he was going to prepare for the upcoming tour. Now, what's interesting, the reason I wanted to actually stop here is because this is actually a really interesting mansion on its own. It was built in 1952, and the man who designed it was a man named Horace Schmidt, who actually designed a lot of the theaters in Las Vegas. So the acoustics in this place are amazing. He made this Spanish mansion architectural masterpiece here with this octagonal fountain, and there's actually a 2-story medieval style church inside here, and it actually has 74 seats and a hand-painted ceiling, and they said that it could be used as a recording studio. Now, Michael Jackson never owned the place, but the place was actually it was owned by the Schmidt family until 2006, and then they sold it to the El Salvador consulate, Iglesias, and he owned it. Now, what's cool about him is that after Michael Jackson passed away, he actually made the very entryway to the place dedication to Michael. There's pictures of Michael's memorabilia in there, and you can see some of the statues really close in there. But what else is pretty interesting is that in 2010, the Liberace Museum closed. It was shut down, and it was kind of a Las Vegas staple, and it was really unfortunate to see it go. And Consulate Iglesias actually offered to allow them to use his estate that he owns now, this estate that used to be the Thriller Villa. He allowed them to, or he offered it up to the people that run the Liberace Society to use this as the new museum. So now, when you go in, the actual ground floor and everything is all Michael Jackson memorabilia, and then you actually have to go through a hidden staircase, and once you go through the hidden staircase, it takes you to the second floor, which is where the Liberace Museum starts, and they have basically all of his clothes, everything, all of his stuff inside there for like 2 floors. Now, I really would have loved to have vlogged this, and I actually looked into it, but it was $130 to take the tour, and I don't believe they allow you to do any photography. Now, what else is pretty cool about this is, even beyond its architectural masterpiece and the acoustic greatness of this place, was that there's all kinds of little secret tunnels underneath here apparently, and they said that Michael Jackson used to take one of those tunnels so that he could leave in his car and not have paparazzi taking photos of him. How cool is that? I mean, Neverland will always be Michael Jackson's home, but I found an article where they were interviewing Consulate Iglesias, and he actually said that he's met Michael's kids, and Michael's kids have told him that their happiest moments of their life were living here. And what else is pretty cool is that their school would have been right across the street. That's actually a school, elementary school. I don't know, I'm somewhat torn because I love the fact that there is still a museum, and that whoever invested their money to keep it alive, they want to make their money back, so it stands to reason that they would want to have a pretty high value on coming in here, but it's unfortunate that it's so hard to see everything else. Now, the car collection, Liberace's car collection, also was on display at that museum, and so now if you want to see that, it's I believe it's still over where it was, over on Dean Martin Drive, and it's co-run by another Hollywood car museum that's over there. Now let's take a look at some of the side features, some of the side doors over here. Here's the other exit or entrance. Wow, the house right next to it's looks like it's completely abandoned. You could pretty much move in there and could have been Michael Jackson's neighbor. Oh, there's a stagecoach on the other side, a Wells Fargo stagecoach. Isn't that cool? Can you guys see that? Awesome. Oh wow, look at that. Even the gates, if you look closely, they're cowboys in iron going around it. And there's even a horse on the inside of the property. Oh wow, that is cool. Take a look at that. There's even mural art behind it. It's like Indians having a peace pipe. Pretty cool. And they said that the reason that Michael Jackson was actually living in Vegas was because he was trying to secure a gig up in the Vegas Strip. And that place it's now known as the Thriller Villa. We're starting to lose a little bit of the light, so we're gonna hit a couple of things that we knew we could do in the dark. Like a certain sign I've always wanted to see. Well, of course we couldn't come to Vegas and not make a stop to see the sign. 25-foot high sign that's been here since 1959. And it was actually designed by a woman named Betty Willis. It's not property of actual Las Vegas or Nevada or anything. A company named Young Electric actually owns it and leases it to the county. So what's crazy is that the woman who designed it, Betty Willis, she actually wanted this to be like public domain. She thought this should be something that everyone could use for any photo or for anything. So it's, of course, it's a historical landmark and everything. But because of that, because that was her wish, the rules on the lease make it basically public domain for anybody to use. That's why this is such a heavily replicated and duplicated, and all the tourist stuff has this sign all over it, is because of her wishes. And you can see down in the bottom, right under Nevada, it says Yesco. Well, this is the sign you're in Vegas, even though it's not technically even in Vegas, it's in Paradise. This is a few miles south, the southern part of the Vegas Strip. That's the historic sign. I just had to come up here and take a look at it. As touristy as it is, I had to see it. Now, Breck was actually saying he hasn't been to Vegas in 20 years, so one of the things that he wanted to do was he wants to go to the Gold and Silver Pawn Stars pawn shop, and I know they don't let you film there, but we're gonna go over there anyway. That is a cool sign. And they said that going across the top, the reason the welcome sign has those silver circles is they wanted those to look like silver dollars because Nevada is the silver state, you know, because of the whole silver rush. Somebody's doing it today, you know they are. There you can see some of the Vegas Strip. You can see New York, the Statue of Liberty. You can see David Copperfield projected onto the side of the MGM Grand. You can see Excalibur. Pretty cool. Every time I see that MGM Grand, I always think of, I know it's not a great movie, but Vegas Vacation. When Clark loses it all. Oh, that's New York, New York. Wow, look at that woman. Wow. Wedding chapel. Well, Breck really wanted to come here, and I'll admit I used to watch this show too. I know they don't let you film anything inside, but we wanted to come and take a look at where they film Pawn Stars. Oh, that's cool. It says Rick's bartending tonight, so I guess Rick's here. We were wondering, there's a couple of like stretch limos out here. Wow, that's crazy. We're here. Well, as you could tell by the slideshow that you just watched, they actually do allow photos, but they don't allow filming, so I showed you a handful of things that I thought were pretty cool inside. So that was actually pretty cool. As we were leaving, the guy saw me vlogging, and he said, you know, if you go over to Rick's bar, which is actually right up here, he said if you go over to Rick's bar in just a little bit, Rick's gonna be up there bartending and you can meet him. And I was like, ooh. So I think we're gonna hang around and go up there and meet him. Oh yeah, you gotta love the European hair specials. The Rick Harrison choice cut. So this shopping plaza across from the pawn shop Rick actually bought, and he's opening some restaurants and stuff, and here he has some of the things that were featured on Pawn Stars up here on display, like this old exercise machine. So he said he's actually going to be here tonight. Well, we came up to the bar where Rick is going to be working tonight, and we ordered some food, and they put down 3 different barbecue sauces because of what we ordered. I went ahead and got the pulled pork and pulled brisket and some mac and cheese, and then I'm going to try out these.
What y'all doing tonight?
Lou Ferrigno!
Yeah, that's Rick. The real Hulk right there behind him. Y'all remember the Hulk? That's the real Lou Ferrigno. He'll whoop your ass today still. You got you talking to him.
The Hulk! Yeah!
You know, I just try to give everybody fair warning. You know what I'm saying?
They really are making Rick work back there. He's actually serving drinks.
But she had a lot more.
Woo!
Hey.
There we go.
Make the world a better place, the USA. Let's hear it one
Got an order from Rick?
time for the great USA. If you're not of America, motherfuckers.
$6.
I ain't going nowhere. I got enough guns and ammo and I'm gonna eat. You bitch.